everyone, and welcome to Gabi's Fantasy Requiem channel. Today is a very special day because I'm gonna be doing my first book review ever. Yay! And the selected book, it's gonna be Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. Neverwhere is one of his first novels and it was published in 1996. And it goes about a character named Richard Mayhew, who is a businessman and, in my opinion, the lamest main character I ever read. He's a boring man with a boring life in a boring world. He has a controlling girlfriend named Jessica, who he always agrees with because he doesn't seem to have an opinion about anything. And his only weird trait is that he collects troll dolls on his desk at work. So he's living this life driven by inertia until one day he's walking to a restaurant with his fiancée to have dinner with her boss, and suddenly a girl falls out of nowhere onto the sidewalk and she's bleeding. Richard, being the nice guy that he is, decides to help her, and Jessica starts yelling because they're gonna be late for dinner. Richard decides to take the girl somewhere safe, and Jessica throws a fit because of this and decides to call off the engagement and dumps him. Love is beautiful. Anyway, she takes the girl to his apartment because she doesn't want to go to a hospital for some reason, and she stays there the night. The next morning, a pair of weird-looking guys appear on Richard's doorstep, claiming to be Door's brothers, but they are really weird, and Richard feels right away that something's not right. That's when weird things start to happen. It turns out Door doesn't belong to this world. She belongs to an underworld called London Below, and, well, after some rat talking and some favors, she leaves the apartment, apologizing to Richard for the trouble. After that, he tries to go back to his normal life, but he realizes he's now invisible to people and no one can remember him anymore. And we find out that he doesn't belong to London Above anymore, which is the name of the real world, the London we all know. And now he has to wonder about London Below, which is a really scary, dark, and bizarre place populated by the people who has fallen into the cracks. London Below is a world that reminded me a lot of Wonderland, where things were as strange as they could be and nothing made any sense at all. So this is the kind of story where the main character has a life-changing experience, and we follow him on his journey to find out that life has more to offer than just sitting on a desk at work and marrying someone in the future and having kids. It's a lot of fun to see through Richard's eyes the insanity that is London Below, mainly because Neil Gaiman's writing style is just fantastic. It's so immersive that you can actually picture London through the pages. I would definitely say this is a setting-driven story because the plot develops as we travel through these dark passages, the sewers, the underground, that is the London subway system. So if you're a world-building junkie and you like bizarre worlds that make no sense whatsoever, I think this is the book for you. I think there were like 3 things that bugged me though. The first being the pacing. I had to push through for the first part of the book because I wasn't really invested at first. I thought it was a really slow beginning, but I don't know, maybe it's just me. The second one was the character work. I am usually a character-driven sort of reader, so I was really looking forward to connect to the characters, to know more about them, to get deeper in their own stories, but I didn't find it because it wasn't the intention, but still it's something that I didn't like. The only characters that I found really interesting were the villains, Mr. Krupp and Mr. Vandermeer, which I'm gonna talk about because they deserve it. Neil Gaiman did a wonderful job with this creepy and blood bloodthirsty pair of characters. You can tell right away that they're extremely, extremely dangerous, and they take a lot of pleasure in hurting people in the most gruesome ways. There's actually a scene in the middle of the book about these characters that I would like to talk about, but maybe it would be considered a spoiler. So I'm gonna put a spoiler alert sign when I start talking about this, so you can mute me if you don't want to hear it, and you can unmute me when the sign goes off. But I really feel that I need to tell this story because I think it portrays the characters so well. So there's this part when one character named Marquis de Carabas, he's a really important character in the book, is negotiating with the villains for some information that he needs. So Marquis de Carabas tells Mr. Krupp, one of the villains, that he knows he collects China figurines and he can trade one of them for the information that he needs. Gradually, Mr. Krupp agrees, and he sort of gives him information, not entirely, but anyway, the thing is, when he has his figurine and the Marquis leaves, I thought like, okay, like, he's human, people collect stuff, I don't know, maybe he has a soft side or something like that. And then I turned the page and I found out that he smashed the China figurine with his teeth. He ate it and he left the dust on his chin, like, it was like, what?
The horror!
It might be silly, but it struck me, and I really like when things kind of make me shudder like that. The third thing that I didn't like was the ending. I found it was really predictable, and I was disappointed to see that what I thought it was going to happen actually did happen. So yeah, that kind of wore me down in the end. But overall, it's a really fun book to read. I really feel like Neil Gaiman had a lot of fun writing it because, I don't know, it's so creative and I laughed out loud a lot of times. And yeah, his writing style is as good as people claim to be, and I already put American Gods and Good Omens into my TBR. So let me know in the comment section what you thought about this book, if you read it, if you're planning to read it, or if you like the review. And like and subscribe if you want to see more content of the books that I read. Later this week I plan to do the November wrap up, so stay tuned and thank you guys, see you soon.